What was the first piece of technology you ever fell in love with? Was it a Walkman? A Nokia? Maybe it was a family computer in the corner of the living room. You know, the one you weren't allowed to touch unless there was an adult around. Growing up in the 90s and early 2000s meant watching the world shift before your eyes. Technology was still chunky, still figuring itself out. And so were we. We burned CDs and carried USB sticks around our necks and learned patience from loading bars. We couldn't Google everything, so we had to read and ask questions. Owning a mobile phone felt like a symbol of status. Playing Snake was a personal trait. And if you ever downloaded music from LimeWire, you were a risk-taker, hacker, and a legend. We grew up blowing on game cartridges, swapping out infrared ringtones. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours, and it was the beginning of something massive. There was a time when being a graphic designer meant scissors, glue, tracing paper, or typeface catalogs stacked on your desk, when every poster, magazine layout, or billboard started not on a screen, but on a table with rulers, scalpels, and steady hands. Design was tactile and literal. You felt your work. If you made a mistake, you didn't hit undo, you started over. Every font was chosen from a printed book. Every logo tweak was resketched by hand. And if it was time to print, the final design had to be perfect because there's no going back. Then the world changed. The first versions of tools like Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator entered the scene. And for many, they felt alien or even threatening. How could a computer replace hand-drawn ideas? How could digital shapes ever carry out the same soul and emotion physical craft had? Some embraced it, learned it, experimented, adapted, but others held on to their old ways, believing this digital thing would pass. But it didn't. It accelerated. What used to take days could now take hours or even minutes. Entire branding projects that once needed physical mock-ups and screen prints could now live on your laptop. And suddenly, the world didn't just want designers. It wanted digital designers. Those who adapted didn't just survive. They led the industry into a new era of visual storytelling. They found ways to bring the soul of analog into the speed of digital, to preserve the emotion while mastering the evolution. Now the business world evolved overnight from mechanical to digital. Back then, a network meant cables tangled under a desk. A meeting meant a suit and handshake. Working remotely was a polite way of saying, we're homesick. Today, you can run a business from your phone. With a few clicks, you can hire talent from Nairobi, market in New York, and manage operations in London, all before lunch. We've seen the power shift from paper to cloud, from office walls to shared documents, from physical infrastructure to digital first, borderless business models. It's not just about fast tech. It's about smarter, more agile ways to think, collaborate, and grow. And those who've adapted, they're winning. The next 30 years might not be defined by what's new, but by who gets access. As the world races into an era of artificial intelligence, automation, green energy, and decentralized finance, Africa stands at a crossroad. Are we going to be passive consumers or active creators? Are we going to wait for the future to arrive, or we'll build it ourselves? Africa doesn't need to catch up. Africa is ready to leap ahead. We're a continent of inventors, problem solvers, and digital dreamers. If we invest in infrastructure, in skills, in access, then the world's next tech leaders won't come from Silicon Valley, they'll come from Africa. At Frampol, we believe the future isn't something that happens to us, it's something we create. We're building Africa's digital backbone, expanding access through secure cloud services, reliable satellite connectivity, and next-gen cybersecurity, empowering businesses, schools, and communities from urban hubs to remote villages. Because the technology we grew up with has got us here, but the innovation we build now will take us further. Frampol is proud to be at the forefront of Africa's digital revolution. The future is bright, the future is connected, and the future is Africa.